if you've not heard of Medieval Kingdom Wars, then I say to you now, if you're a fan of RTS, a fan of Age of Empires, a fan of Total War, and of Paradox as well, this game is a complete package. It's basically Age of Empires that meets Total War, and it has so many good things about it. It's a game that you might not have even heard of, and it's made by three humble developers, and I must say they have done a fantastic job in recreating the RTS magic. The magic of games such as Empire Earth, Rise of Nations, Age of Empires, The Conquerors, the expansion. It evokes so many memories. It brings back memories of Knights of Honor. And if you play the tutorial itself is so impressive. It really immerses you into the time period. Of course, the voice acting is so and so, but I don't mind it. Because if you look at a game like Age of Empires 2, for example, that also had some great voice acting and not so good voice acting. But the sort of cliche voice acting kind of works in the favor when you play this tutorial. And this tutorial right now that you're seeing here is the Siege of Orleans, where Guy de Chatillon is defending the city against the English, but I could be wrong. But it brought back so many memories of the Siege of Orleans in Age of Empires 2. But that was under the Joan of Arc campaign. I wasn't under that, but either way. Now, I'm playing this as part of Tacticon, where they are, for the next couple of days, from the 23rd to the 26th, there you can look at hundreds and hundreds of playable demos of RTS games, and I reached out to them and got a review copy for this, and I checked this out. Because this is a game where you can manage economy, diplomacy, recruit armies, and it's so simplified. You don't need to go through too many tooltips or too many UI. And what can I say about the soundtrack? The soundtrack is absolutely excellent. For an RTS game, it really immerses you into the medieval time period. It immerses you so much that you really feel that you are in that medieval time period. You know, my main criticism is that I've just played the base game. I've not played any DLCs, so I don't know what additional changes the DLCs include. But you'll be fighting big epic battles. You'll be managing diplomacy. You might be managing politics. One of the main things the game doesn't have at the moment, I believe, that is currently from the base game, is a family tree. The ability to conduct marriages and that type of stuff. This is, of course, what I'm judging on the base game. But I really do think that the voice acting and the immersive dialogue that was written for every time, whether you play the tutorial or not, it really immerses the player. And I wish that they would have done something where they could have at least brought some of the voice acting into the main grand campaign, at least. Now, of course, you are playing on a very small area of Europe. You're playing, of course, a map that's kind of similar to Age of Charlemagne in Attila Total War. And I've got to say, you can recruit units, you can build, you can manage diplomacy, you can do all of that. You have to make sure that as a minor noble, you have to rise your way up towards kingship. And you've got to build secure alliances. You've got to make sure that everything you do is perfect. You don't risk alienating too many houses. And at the same time, you build and construct buildings that you need. Although my main problem is that, yes, you can construct as many buildings as you want, but I feel the resources are not as impactful. Say, for example, you need this many wood, this many gold, this much stone. You can do that in the city, right? When you're being besieged, you can build all of that. You can do all that type of stuff. But it's not enough, I think. I think, maybe you could send, maybe like you have towns, you have small towns which you can build different things. Perhaps you could send villagers into those villages to build, and they could be subject to raids or something like that. But when I was playing this game, this felt like this is being made by 3 indie developers. You got to understand that creating games, making games, planning them, doing the concept art, it's easy for those that that know how to make it, but it's a very difficult process because it takes a lot of time and effort. Now imagine coming up with this type of game. Yes, sure, there's outdated graphics, but so what? The graphics, good graphics doesn't mean necessarily that it will be a good game. Aged graphics can also be a good game, you know. And graphics wise, you just have to get used to it, and you will get used to it either way because it's a medieval time period. Anything looks fantastic with the medieval time period, even age graphics, outside graphics, or whatever. And for some of you that might be thinking that, yeah, but this game is a bit outdated. Well, it's reminiscent of the early RTS games that were being released in the 2000s. Age of Empires to this day still has the same UI and it hasn't changed. Maybe except for Age of Empires 4 and Age of Empires 3 DE, which is the definitive edition, has gotten really good. Has gotten really good results. But who cares? You know, there is the idea that the AI is unresponsive. And with regards to the AI, I think it's good enough. I think the main thing is that you will get to experience the big events once you play as a king or a minor lord. And to experience those big events, you need to start small and then you go up. That's how you play. And I really feel that, you know, I used to see this game plenty of times on sale. It used to be on discount, it used to be on this, and there weren't many people going towards it. Not many were, because the problem is that indie games don't have enough of a marketing budget. Because most of the resources, the effort goes into this type of area where they have to try and help their project. So this is a grand strategy game. This is an RTS game. This is a game that perhaps you would have said maybe should have been released 10 years earlier. Perhaps it could have. Perhaps it should have. But I don't care at this point because now it's released now recently and it has some really great DLCs coming up for it. Right now there's the Royal Blood DLC, which the Royal Blood DLC offers a streamlined UI, better units, better characterization, more refined changes to the campaign gameplay. It allows much more unique improvements. And then there's another DLC called Greater Realms. That is also coming, that is expanding the campaign map. I really think they could do something great with the Crusades. They could do something great with the Northern Wars, perhaps between the wars between Sweden and maybe Denmark. Perhaps they could go on to different types of periods. And I really wish that they would go to the Middle East, because the Middle East period would be absolutely fantastic and I would love to see something like that. So you're going to get big stuff like this. And I really think that this game is really underrated. Not a lot of people have seen it or heard of it. And here's the thing. That's my opinion. You can see this game right now. You know that this game is there. Don't be scared that it has outdated graphics. Don't even think that. When there's such an amazing tutorial campaign, when there's great voice acting in every single thing, even if the voice acting doesn't pronounce the French names right, I don't care. And yes, I repeated I don't care to be honest, but that's not the point. The point is that when I was fighting the siege battles, the music just came in and it felt like I was fighting in the medieval period. And the music was so fantastic. And to be honest with you, DLCs really add to it. Buy the soundtrack as well. Support indie developers. They need it. So this is me just telling you, you need to go and get this game. Try it out. You will not regret it. At a time when there's tons of medieval games out there already, this game is a gem. It's a really underrated title that you might have missed totally under the radar. You need to get it right now. And of course, I have just done the base game. I haven't gone on to the DLCs just yet. But if I can get access to it, I would be more than happy to look at the other games as well and review and do spotlights like this. So this is a great game. Go and check it out. And you can also, I believe there should be a demo, but if there's not, it's on discount. And it's a very cheap game. It's not that expensive. But the amount of value that it offers, this game should be even more. This game is, fantastic. So don't forget to leave a like, share, comment and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.